I thought I would share some things that I've noticed that have really worked on other islands, but also other tribal based societies and what they've done to be sovereign. And one of the most brilliant ones that I refer to often is what the Eastern Band Cherokees have done in North Carolina. And I want to see if I can interview some of the tribal leaders at some point for all of you, because I think that we can get inspiration, and the people of Ireland can get inspiration from what our native friends here have done, because our societies are similar and our way of being and thinking is similar. And I think we have a lot that we can offer each other. But one of the things that they did that I think is so inspiring, that I think could be entirely possible in Ireland, is they became sovereign by reinvesting in the people. Not in the same way that you hear like socialism or what socialism does. It isn't, I wouldn't say that it's like that. I think it's a I think it's more of a tribal government, not a socialism government, if that makes sense. Um, but what they did was they were poor, like most of the reservations and nation spaces were intended to be, right? By the suppressors, colonizers. And they built a casino, a huge casino. And it's right on the edge of the Smoky Mountain National Forest or National Park. And it's in this beautiful area. So they built this huge casino that, one, was generating money, but two, had a very large hotel, right? So location wise, it was quite good because it was a place that people wanted to visit anyways, right? And another thing that happened was, and I don't fully know the logistics of this story, this part of the story, but I do know that there was a man who was not native, who owned several hundred acres of traditional native lands. And when he died, he willed those lands back to the people. And so the tribe became owners of this amount of land that was multiple hundreds of acres. And there was some aspect of that triggered the idea of buying back tribal lands. So they took money that they were earning and they started buying back tribal lands. And keep in mind, all of this land is adjacent to the Smoky Mountain National Park. There's the Smoky Mountain or Cherokee National Forest that's there. There's another national forest that's near there. I think Pisgah National Forest that's there. So there's a lot of land there and untouched land that's protected. And they started reinvesting in that, and then they took the more of that money and they put it in like a fund, right? That would generate dividends and more wealth. And what they did was, every person that is an enrolled member of the tribe would get their portion of that fund. They would get one portion at one age, and then they would get a second portion at another age, and then they would receive, like a dividend payment each month. And so that generated wealth for the people. So not only were they gaining their ancestral lands back, but they also were reinvesting that money into the people. So the people were getting money, right? That this casino was earning for them, and they were getting that money back. So all of the people that are enrolled tribal members were getting that money back. So now there's no more stress for money, right? They have money. Now they have money. And so then the tribe started investing in more businesses that would generate more wealth for the tribe. And so they've invested into these other businesses. There's now these other businesses that they've built. They've built this beautiful state-of-the-art hospital. The hospital is tribal owned. Um, and they invested in reinvigorating the language, reinvigorating the traditional sports, and now they host these events where they have these, weekends where they play their traditional sports and encourage others to learn the sport so that more people can play in the sport. And but one of the other things that they did was then invested in encouraging entrepreneurship for the people. And so now when you go to Cherokee, North Carolina, the all of the businesses there, or the majority of them, are all tribal members owned. And what the area has really done is capitalized on tourism. And so all of the Airbnbs that are there are tribal owned. All of the, restaurants that you go to are tribal owned. All of the gift shops that you go to are tribal owned. All of the artisan shops are tribal owned. So, and then there's like cultural centers that are all tribal owned. Um, so they've really done a beautiful job of becoming a sovereign nation. Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, there's still problems from what I understand. There's been, the issues that are unfortunately a part of the trauma from ancestral trauma and historical trauma that they're still working through to heal from, such as domestic violence and drug addiction and alcoholism, and those the undercurrent of the trauma is still there to be healed. But the tribal leaders did a beautiful job of rebuilding the community, and at least instilling a motivation to remain and be a part of the community, which that's the key, right? Is you've got to keep it whole for it to function. And it's I love it because when you go there, you see everything's in Cherokee language and in the written language as well. And so they've really done a beautiful, amazing transformational effort to keep the community strong, and it is getting stronger because there's no longer that feeling of desperation to try and make ends meet. That's been met now. And so now it's back to being able to give back to the people, be creative again, and take care of those around them. And also be able to give back to others. So when a neighboring community of Asheville, North Carolina, was flooded, fortunately for Cherokee, they did not flood, even though a river goes right through there. And they were able to give back to the neighbors, and they were able to pool all sorts of money and goods together to give to the people. So I wanted to share that because I think that that same thing is a possibility in Ireland. And I'll share some other communities that I've lived in as well, and how they've done things to take care of the people and remain strong, but also capitalize on tourism and maintain their culture, because the culture is celebrated by those who come to visit. You know, it's a drawing factor by those who come to visit. And I think Cherokee is a beautiful example of how that can be done well. So be sure to research it yourself and learn about it. I know there's a few videos out there about what they've done, and educate yourself so that that it can be something that can be pulled together for our beautiful homeland of Ireland, and ancestral homeland of Ireland. And yeah, like and follow for more.